Hope you're enjoying the international break. I don't know how you could be because it sucks. It sucks. We get the football back and then they take it away from us 3-4 games after the season starts. It's actually criminal. We're ranking this tier list today. Get in the comments down below. I think we've got 14 teams to rank that were just on this tier list. It's not going to be everybody, but we're going to talk about the transfer windows for at least the teams that are on this tier list. We're going to rank them. I'm going to give you guys my opinions. We're going to talk about who they sold, who they brought in, and I'm just going to throw out an opinion. You guys let me know how you guys are feeling about these transfer windows, and I'm honestly going to have to kind of judge how I feel like this team is going to do in this season ahead. That's also like the challenge with this video, so we're going to have to try to do that. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content on this channel. We're actually almost at 100,000 subs. So if you guys, man, that's crazy. This is like just the channel I just love uploading like football reactions, random stuff too. So to you guys that have been supporting the journey over here, it's the passion project. I appreciate it. So let's start off with AC Milan. This club really has fallen off quite a bit. They appoint Allegri to hopefully get them back into some winning culture. I don't love him as a manager, so I'm not going to say that the new manager that was appointed on July 1st is anything too special. Who did they bring in? They're bringing in Nkunku from Chelsea. So Nkunku, who is a player that a few years ago, before the injury, before all the bench time at Chelsea, where he never really just kind of got in the rhythm and got super happy there, was in the top 20 in the world in terms of players. We'll see if he can get back there. He's 27 years old. They brought in from Bruges, Arden Jashari. They brought in Ricci from Torino, who is solid. They brought in De Winter from Genoa, so they bought a couple players in the league. They brought in from Brighton, they brought Estupinan, who has already started for them. He's in their 11. And then they brought in Rabiot. This guy has been on like 30 clubs and is still playing football. Morata's loan ends, so he's back. They got Modric on a free. And then who did they get rid of, okay? This is where, for me, they've cashed in on some players, but they really didn't get that much money for a lot of them. So they sold Tial to Newcastle, who was their starting center back, for 35 mil. Okay. They sold Reindeers for 55 mil, which after the first couple weeks, I feel like they kind of got fleeced on that one because I feel like Reindeers is just one of those guys, man. He just looks like he's a 70 to 80, 90 mil player. So I don't know. City, to me, look like they've done good business there. Okafor wasn't doing all that much for them. He goes to Leeds for 19 mil. Kalulu goes to Juve for 14 mil. Musa goes out on loan. And then you have Teo Hernandez, who goes for 25 mil to Saudi. 25 mil, one of your higher production players, a guy that's kind of been in the top 3, top 4 left backs for a few seasons now. With all those things considered, is this going to be enough for Milan to make a run this season? Did this transfer window propel this team to get back with Allegri to that top 4, top 5 in the league level? I don't believe so. I'm putting them on the C tier, guys. I don't think this transfer window for AC Milan was anything special. It's just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's the right opinion. And now I'm trying to do this in a way where we can kind of like just have the departures and everything on the side, getting pulled up and figure out what's the best way. Let's talk about Arsenal. Okay, we're going to Arsenal now. Now, Arsenal have done a lot of business this window. They've already brought in a striker who's started and scored a few goals, which is Victor Gyökeres. A lot of people think he's going to be a miss. I think he's still, even if he appears to be a miss, going to give them more goals than Havertz did, and for them, that will be a success. They brought in Eze at the last minute, which is going to extremely impact my ranking of Arsenal's transfer window here. So keep that in mind, because I really rate Eze, and what we already saw from Eze was a lot of good stuff, even in the limited minutes he's played. So that was 70 mil. Gyökeres was 65 mil. They brought in Madueke, who looked all right and is only 23 years old, for 56 mil. Keep in mind, Eze was 70 mil and he's 27. They brought in Zubamendi, who is 70 mil. So Zubamendi ends up for this transfer window being the most expensive player they brought in. And now, at the last minute, guys, they brought in Hincapie from Leverkusen on a loan, who is genuinely one of the greatest set-piece scorers in the world right now. I'm not even trolling. He scores so much off set pieces. Who else? Nuno Tavares' loan ends on Mosquera, who actually came in really handy. They paid 15 mil because Saliba got injured. I thought he did pretty well. And then Norgard, who's been getting minutes. Now, who's going out? No, sorry. Nuno Tavares goes for 5 mil. Kiwi goes on a loan. And that's always the funny thing with people who talk about Arsenal. They're like, who did they even sell? They didn't really sell anybody. It's a big gamble. They didn't really sell anybody, guys, in this window. There's not a lot of departures. I'm going to give Arsenal A tier because I think Arsenal is not S tier, because S tier I'm only going to have like 1 or 2 teams up there. I think Arsenal still needs to bring in one other midfielder. I still think they need one more creative guy. That's just my opinion. But overall for Arsenal and addressing their needs, I think this window has been pretty beneficial to them. It's pretty insane the level they've brought in this window because you look at the team and they're already benefiting massively. And I think out of Eze and Madueke, one of them is going to end up being a superstar at Arsenal. And I think regardless, they're going to really alleviate a lot of a lot of the pressure and pain on Saka. Let's talk about Atletico Madrid, who have started this season horribly. Atletico Madrid have started this season absolutely horrendously, guys. They loaned out DePaul, who is one of their most important midfielders. He clearly saw it wasn't going to work out. He wanted to get out of there, and he wanted to go play with Messi. They sold Lino to Flamengo for 22 mil. Correa goes to Tigres, and Vermeeren goes to Leipzig. My problem with Atletico Madrid isn't who went out. It's that they didn't bring enough in. Now, they did bring in a lot of players. They brought in Raspadori, they brought in Almada, they brought in Cardoso, they brought in Henko, and they brought in Alex Baena. But to be honest, the way the season has started, they don't look good. They brought in like Nico Gonzalez. I mean, it's a bit. Did they bring in Nico Gonzalez? No, Nico Gonzalez goes to Juve on loan. Sorry, this is all messed up here. But in terms of who they brought in, guys, I'm giving them a D, bro. This is the worst start I have seen for Atletico Madrid in a really long time. And I think it reflects that they just didn't do enough in the window. So let's talk about Barcelona. Barcelona, guys, obviously, for me, addressed one of their massive long-term issues was getting a goalkeeper, which is Joan Garcia. He's already turned out to be an absolute monster for them. Brought in Rooney, Bargi, and Rashford, who, to be honest, both of them have not made any impact yet. They don't look like they're going to make a massive impact, I will be honest, especially Rashford, but maybe we'll give him some time. Didn't end up selling Fermin. Who did they get rid of? Look, for me, guys, Barcelona in this transfer window, I know Joan Garcia addresses a lot of their issues. This may be unpopular for a lot of people. I'm giving them C, and I'm going to explain why. They loaned out Martinez, right? And I understand he was expensive, but I've already noticed the defense does not look good this season. The team looks like they have regressed a bit. I still feel like with Lewandowski's health, yes, Torres has been really beneficial at times. I still think they should have probably ended up going on a striker. I still feel like that is something that is missing in the team, and I still think they need another defender. So just in terms of ranking the transfer window, guys, I'm not gonna give them anywhere higher than a C. I just can't. I'm not going to. And I know you guys say, "Oh, this guy's a Barca fanboy." Well, there you go. That would go against it, correct? I mean, that would go against it. Let's talk about Bayern Munich. We're gonna talk about Bayern Munich, guys. Okay, this is where let's pull this up. Why do they keep giving me different websites? This is getting really annoying. Okay, Bayern Munich. So, obviously, Luis Diaz, and what has he done already? I rate him. I did rate him already before he went to Bayern. I know he gets some sticks sometimes. Liverpool sold him for 70 mil. Bayern buys him for 70 mil, obviously. Now, at the buzzer, they get Jackson. So they have another rotational striker. They get Jackson. Jonathan Tah from Leverkusen. Okay, so that's also a nice pickup. And then in terms of who goes out, all right, Tell to Spurs for 35 mil. They sell Coman for 25 mil, which, look, Kingsley Coman has done a ton for this club. No one's denying that, but he's very injury prone, and I think it's not a bad sale. They sold Warner to PSV, which I don't love that move, and then Paulinho goes out. But how Bayern have started the season and how they look, I think with how Diaz has come into the team and really benefited them, I think I would have to give them a B or an A. Just that Diaz signing alone and how they did in the last window with Olise and then bringing in another striker. Jackson can get you 12, 15 goals, especially in the Bundesliga a season, and then Tah, what he's able to do for them. I like the window. I think the window is good. I think to be S, it would have to be, the most perfect window ever. I think the window for Bayern Munich was pretty good, guys. So I'm going to give Bayern Munich in that A tier. Actually, should I go B tier? Guys? Nah, let's put it A tier. All right, let's talk about Chelsea. Let's talk about Chelsea, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. Sorry, guys. I'm pulling this up on the side. I just want to make sure that we're not missing anybody. I know the transfers, guys. I'm not stupid. I just want to make sure that we are not missing anybody as we go over this stuff. Okay, here we go. Arrivals. Now, Joao Pedro. Okay, I love it. I think he's going to be great. He's already been great. They win the Club World Cup really in part to him. I think that really helped them. Okay, Jamie Gittins, almost 60 mil was the fee. It was a great sale from Dortmund. Was it a great buy from Chelsea? We have to see. I haven't been wowed so far, but he's 20 years old. Let's not give up on him. Okay, Garnacho for 46 mil. from United was the actual fee. I hate it. I don't like it. I know he's only 21. I think he's very overrated. Now, is it a gamble at 46 mil? A little bit, but Garnacho, no matter what, if it doesn't work out, Chelsea is notorious for buying players for a lot and being able to sell them. I think Garnacho, at the worst, they could still get 30 mil for him. Hato, 19 years old. I like the buy. Liam Delap, unfortunately, already injured. It sucks, 35 mil. Estevao looks so good. So Estevao looks amazing scouting. Love the move. I think Paez will come into his own, 18 years old. Chelsea brought in, guys, so many players this window that are just young and have a lot of potential. So I like that. And then they sell Madueke for 56 mil, which I think is good for them. And Kunku for 37. Felix goes for 30. They get rid of Felix. Petrovic, they sell for 29. Dewsbury Hall goes for 28. Already lighting it up with Grealish at Everton. So I don't love that. But they sold a ton of players. Broha for 23 mil. Chukwuemeka to Dortmund for 20 mil. Jackson goes out on a loan, so you get rid of that drama. Amagu goes for 12, and these are, younger players, 19, 22, 23-year-olds. You're getting 15, 20, 30 mil. Ugo goes to Burnley for 30 mil. Guys, overall, for me, I'm going to have to give Chelsea an A. I think Chelsea had a really good window. Just looking at it with how Chelsea have gone out and started the season. A lot of this has to do with how the team has also started the season, how they look, and that's kind of like, ultimately my judgment of it. Let's go to Inter Milan. Inter Milan, guys, won the first game, lost the second game. Didn't really do that much this window. They brought in Boni from Parma, who's good, but guys, no insane transfer. No insane transfer for Inter. And I think at the last second now, I think they just got Akanji. I think Zalewski goes to back to Atalanta. Guys, honestly, didn't really do much. They brought in Sucic, Luis Enrique. I think I'm going to put Inter at C as well. I mean, I could put them B. I just feel like they haven't done a lot. So that's not really like C is kind of like I'm saying average or a little below average. Juventus, guys, honestly, I don't really follow Juve that much anymore. So I don't really know what's going on with Juve. Conceição, they buy, I think, Gonzalez they buy for 28. Lloyd Kelly from Newcastle. Zegrova, they get Kalulu. They get... And I watched one Juve game and they looked solid. Joao Mario, Openda? Is that right? Wow. On the loan fee. Is that right? And then who's out? Rovella goes for 17. Nicolo goes for 13. Mbangula goes for 10. They started the season well. Let's give Juve a B. Let's give Juve a break. Maybe they're making their way back up. Let's go to Liverpool. I'm sure that a lot of you guys have been waiting for Liverpool in this video. Let's talk about the Liverpool window. And I'm going to rate them probably pretty high up there. I think we're going to go S tier. I think it's the craziest transfer window ever. I think it's really up there with the Benzema, Ronaldo, that whole window. Guys, Isak in for 145 mil. Wirtz in for 125 mil. Ekatike for 95 mil. Kirkes, Frimpong. You get Leone. The Gehi one falls through. Dude, it's a hell of a window. And this is the most impressive part to me, okay? So they spent 519 or 482 mil. They actually, guys, they sold out like 230 or 240 mil. They sold Diaz for 70. Darwin, they got 53. Kwanzaa goes for 35. Trent obviously goes, but, he was already out to Madrid. I got to say it's S tier because they also got some money back, which is surprising. When you spend that much, you actually got some money back. Let's go to Manchester City. Liverpool, guys, I don't have much to add. They've had the best window, I think, out of any of these teams. I think. I genuinely believe it. All right. So, Man City brings in Nuri, Reindeers, Cherokee, Trafford, and now Donnarumma. Now, Donnarumma, for me, guys, is boosting this transfer window for them massively. Really, all the players going out are players at City that have now got older or just are a little bit past it. That would include, with all due respect, to KDB, Walker, Gundogan, Ederson, and you can also see it in the players. It's evident they're not as good as they once were. I think this is a pretty solid window for Man City. I don't think this is the window that is going to take Man City to winning the league, but I think it's a good window. I'm going to put them in B, and I'll put them ahead of Juve if we want to go by order. I think it's been a good window. I think they still have some issues they will need to address, but I think it is definitely a window that is in the right direction. Or do we put them in A now? Because they low-key just signed, if you want to say Donnarumma, the best goalkeeper in the world. That is a really good window signing for them. We'll keep them in B. Is that fair, though? Is that fair? Ah, man, it's tough. These tier lists are tough, man. Everyone's gonna watch this and they're gonna be a fan of a team and be like, bro, you got this wrong. All right, Manchester United. Let's talk about Manchester United, guys. Manchester United, look, I know they started the season the way they've started it. I get it, okay? Let's talk about the arrivals. They bring in Sesko for 77 mil. We're not sure. I kind of feel like he might be a miss because every striker that goes here is a miss recently. But Emblemo and Cunha, to me, look amazing. So as I said, they got 2 out of 3 of those signings. Maybe Sesko were given up too early. He hasn't been put in great positions yet. I think those 2 have been amazing signings. They just got a goalkeeper at the deadline, which is massive for them. So that is a good, solid window. Now, who goes out? Garnacho, Anthony, Højlund, Rashford, Sancho goes out. You got rid of all the players that were causing annoying things at this club. So, guys, I know this is going to be crazy, but for all things considered, I'm putting United in the A tier. Because, let me explain. I'm going to explain my reasoning, okay? I'm putting them in that tier not because, okay, necessarily this team is going to win the league, okay? They got 15th place last year. I think they addressed a lot of the needs where they actually got creative attackers. I still think they have to address more needs, but for the window considered, man, it feels wrong putting them in A tier. Should I put them in B tier? I'll put them in B tier. That feels a little wrong, but just for United's side of things, guys, they got rid of a lot of the players that were causing all this BS at the club. They said Amorim picked players that he feels like are going to benefit the team. I feel like Emblemo and Cunha have brought in attackers. They didn't even have attackers. So I think it's a solid window. Let's put them in the high B tier. I don't know if I'm going to even like my... it's a mix of like, does the transfer benefit the team and is the team playing well? Like in terms of the benefit, I think United got an A tier, but all right. Napoli, Noah Lang, Gutierrez, they get Vanya, Højlund comes in, KDB comes in, which I love. I love that. That one is great. KDB, I think, is going to really benefit them in the City. I think he's going to have a really good season or two. And then departures, Osimhen, obviously, Galatasaray, 75 mil, they buy him. Raspadori goes for 22 mil to Atletico Madrid. I think the KDB signing and how they've started the season, I'll also put them in B tier. It's nothing crazy, the window, but I think it's a really solid window. Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that. We're doing pretty well, bro. I thought this video was going to be like 30 minutes. We've got 2 teams left. Both of these teams, with some action in this transfer window. I think Real Madrid's window was really good because they brought in a center back in Dean Huijsen that is just almost like just such a deep line playmaker as a center back, but he's not a DLP, obviously, but he's so good. Carreras is nuts. Carreras is literally crazy. I think he's so good. Mastan Tuono, did I do that right? Seems like has a lot of potential. Trent, we will see. It's always a benefit to have Trent in your team with his vision and his ability. Bring in Xabi Alonso, addressing the manager issue. I think what he's doing there, it's going to pay off and be good. Get rid of players that are aging out, with all due respect. Modric's 39 years old. Vasquez goes to Leverkusen on a free. So don't really do too much business with departures. You spent about 200 to 180 mil, but I think what you brought in, I think it's A tier, man. Guys, the way Madrid have started the season, it's been really good. It's been really good. Like the left back issue, they have a left back they're building out with. Did you see the goal line save he had? I think with Dean Huijsen and Carreras, I know it's not a ton, and I know you still brought in, Franco from River, and you brought in Trent, but like those 2 alone for me in terms of what the team needed, I'm putting them in A tier. I think from what I have seen, it's been really good. And then the last team on our tier list here is going to be Spurs, guys. So let's do the Spurs ranking. And what Spurs have done is a lot this window, and Spurs have looked pretty good outside of the last game. I'm going to give them a higher rating because of what they did at the deadline. Spurs, to me, were a team that was in deep water of going into United tumble, where you have like 5 to 10 years of being bad, and I think what Thomas Frank has come in and already done since July 1st, competing with PSG, almost winning that, and to start the season looking good. I don't want to fall in the trap of overrating Spurs like I do every season because they start well. But you brought in a lot of players that have benefited. And then at the deadline, you brought in Kolo Muani, who is a France national team World Cup level player who can score goals. Xavi Simons at the buzzer is great, man. Especially with Madison going down. I mean, he's a great player. Kudus has looked electric, bro. I really like the window for Spurs. I really do. You got rid of Son for 22, who's at the end. Højbjerg, 13. I think it's an A window for Spurs, So this is going to be the list. I don't know if you guys think I'm crazy, but Spurs have looked really solid to start the season. And in terms of the team needs, including the manager, I think they've addressed a lot. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I wanted to review this. I wanted to go over this. Hopefully you guys enjoy this type of video. and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.